Howdy folks, I'm Dastardly Dover Demon, delightedly disturbing distrustful detectives.
I'm Amber.
And here are more distrustful detectives for us to disturb. They say do not disturb on them, but we do it anyways because we can. So let's get started. That makes us a little naughty. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Wife Name Our Child from the list that she created over the last 20 years? I wasn't sure how to word the title the best. I don't mean to sound controlling by saying that I'm letting her do something, but I was good with using names that she chose because she's thought of this since she was a kid. My wife and I, both 30, are expecting our first child, and I told her that she should pick the name off her list that she loves the most for our baby. She started thinking of baby names when she was 10. She kept the same physical list and amended it over time. It has grown, it has shrunk, and it has swapped for different variants of names, but it's still the same list. I know that she loves all the names on there, and they all mean something to her. Well, she wanted to name her future kids off that list since she was a kid. And while I have names that I like and don't like, I've never put the same thought into what I would name my future kids, and I don't dislike any of her names. So, when she started suggesting that we talk about baby names, I told her to go for a name on her list and that I don't mind which one. That's how I feel. I'm excited to learn the name that she picks, but I know that this is a more meaningful process for her. My wife is so happy, and she's waiting to make her final decision until closer to her due date or when the baby is here. We mentioned it to a couple of people on my side, and it didn't go over well. They felt like I should be more involved and putting forward ideas to try and get some more family names in there somewhere. I would never suggest family names, even if we did pick names together. I told my family to get over it and know that whatever names get chosen, it has my approval. They told me that it was very lazy, and names have the most balance when chosen by two people instead of only one. I rolled my eyes, and I changed the subject. My wife hadn't expected the reaction that we got, and neither did I, but I let it wash off me. Since this is such a big deal to a small number of people, I wondered if it should be to others. Hence my asking, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, this is really just a decision between OP and his wife. It sounds like OP's wife is on board. It sounds like OP is on board with his wife's choice, and that's all that matters. Everyone else, it sounds like they're upset that they're not getting to insert a family name in there.
Yeah.
They can have their own kids, or they can get pets if they want to name someone, but you cannot name other people's kids. End of story.
We named the monkey Jack. I don't know if anyone gets that reference. The thing is that I would see them having a point if OP was basically abdicating all responsibility to the wife and being like, oh, no, you handle all this stuff, right? That could feel a little bit lazy at that point in time. And OP does mention in the comments that they are actively involved in other aspects, and I do think that's an important thing to mention. But the fact of the matter is that OP likes the names on the list and doesn't dislike them, and so he doesn't have a problem with whichever one she chooses. And this is something that she's been looking forward to. If she wanted feedback from him and he was like, no, you go ahead and do this, right? Then that would be a different situation as well. But it seems like she's excited about this and is, really happy that she's going to be able to choose the name on her own here, right? So I don't think that OP's doing anything wrong. I think that the family just needs to get over themselves. And I agree with you. Basically, it sounds like they want the kid to have a family name, and OP is like, nah, we're not having a family name, and so they're upset by that. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Adult Child 86 says, whatever about other people's opinions, but maybe it would be nice to look at her list together so she feels that you're a bit involved in the decision as well, as a looking forward to being a parent type of thing. And OP replies, she's happy with my level of involvement. I have been very involved in other decisions, but the names are something that she has focused on for a long time, so it feels right to let her do this part on her own. But she will ask if she needs my opinion, or for me to make a decision if she is torn between two names in the end. And current ad 8327 says, I really find this to be the sweetest notion and a gift to your wife. As someone who put a lot of thought into names, including how it looks on paper, I wish I could see your wife's list. I bet that her and I could be friends. She sounds very sentimental. And OP replies, she is. There are things that she has saved from her childhood, too, that she would love to pass down to our kids. I love that she's so sentimental. I even found some stuff that I saved to do the same type of thing, and it made her cry because she loved that I would want that as well. But I agree that this is a sweet idea. And Willing Training 796 says, no jerks here. You can name your baby whatever or however you both choose. However, starting and keeping a list of baby names from when you are 10 years old is definitely weird AF. It's harmless, of course, but you had to expect people to be like, what in the world? When you told them about it. Just name the baby and tell everybody what you chose. Nobody else needs to be involved at this point. And OP replies, I don't think that it's weird. Some people dream of having kids and think of names that they'll use while still kids themselves. It happens. I think that this person is being overly judgmental because I've heard of lots of people who keep baby name lists from when they are kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything weird about it, you know. And as someone who is always looking for names because I'm a writer, like, I definitely, like, my aunt gave me an old baby name book when I was like 13 or 14, and like I would use that to name my characters. If I was going to have kids, like, you better believe I would have picked out names.
Yeah. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Feeling Betrayed by My Husband's Lie and for Refusing to Hand Over the Daughter that I Raised as My Own? I'm a 36-year-old female, and I've been with my husband, a 43-year-old male, for 12 years. We have an 11-year-old son together, and we've also raised quote-unquote his daughter, a 12-year-old female. After I got pregnant with our son, he told me that he had a daughter from a previous relationship. He was vague, but the timing made me feel sick, and that she had been born not long after we had gotten together. I assumed that I was the other woman and carried the guilt for years, like I had broken up a family and was a homewrecker. He never corrected me. Because of that guilt, I threw myself into being the best stepmom that I could be. I was only 24 and scared, but over time this little girl became my daughter. I've done the day-to-day parenting for over a decade, school, doctors, birthdays, late nights, and she calls me mom. My husband has always been more invested in our son, but I've never treated the kids differently. Well, a few months ago, cracks started showing. His younger sister, a 26-year-old female, re-entered our lives after years of low contact. She was unusually attached to my daughter, and I noticed odd comments and tense silences from the family. Eventually, I confronted my husband and he confessed. His sister is my daughter's biological mother. She had her at 14, and he stepped in to raise the baby as his own. He let me believe that I was the other woman because it was easier than telling the truth. I felt betrayed. I've been carrying guilt over a lie for more than a decade. Worse now is his sister is in a stable relationship and engaged, and she says that she wants her daughter back. My husband's reaction? Maybe it's for the best. My daughter doesn't know the full truth yet, but she senses that something is wrong. She's overheard us arguing and has had a meltdown, begging me to tell her that I'm her mom. I reassured her, but inside I was broken. To me, there's no difference between her and my son. I've raised her, loved her, and fought for her. And now I feel like my husband and his family sees me as disposable. So am I the jerk for refusing to step aside and let his sister take back the girl that I've raised as my own? And edit, my husband isn't the biological father. All right, folks, what do you think of this? And there is some important details in the comments here. Basically, OP never handled any of the paperwork for the daughter, and basically it was all handled by OP's husband and the grandparents. So they kind of kept that stuff away from OP. So any of the legal documents and everything.
Yeah, definitely not the jerk, but OP consult a lawyer ASAP to find out what legal rights you have here. I can certainly say it sounds like it would be in the best interest of the daughter to stay with you and not be handed over to a stranger. Because that's all her biological mother is at this point in time. OP is the mom for all intents and purposes. Now, daughter is going to need to know the truth. It might help to get her into therapy and talk to a therapist about how to have this conversation with her. I can't fault OP for not telling her sooner because OP didn't know the truth.
Yeah.
But this definitely needs to be disclosed to her now.
This is a heartbreaking situation, and I think it's unfortunate that OP didn't go for adoption sooner or, at all, it sounds like. And it may have been that she was discouraged from adopting her or something like that. I don't know the details behind that. But if this is one of those things where it's just such a heartbreaking situation, and she may have not even felt like she needed to adopt the daughter because, like, oh, they're family and stuff like that. But, you never know in the case of, like, divorce or any other types of things, right? If you would want your daughter to be, handed over to somebody or not have any rights to them, that would be a really sad and heartbreaking type of situation as well, right? As for whether OP should just take this, and deal with it and let it happen, absolutely not. I agree with Amber here that OP needs to go ahead and consult a lawyer and talk this over with them and see what they have to say. See if there's a way of getting her adopted or any number of things. I know it's short notice, but I guess if the sister doesn't give up I don't know how the adoption works exactly when somebody's abandoned the child.
It's not clear who has legal rights at this moment.
Yeah.
Like, presumably the husband, but like the sister presumably relinquished her rights to OP's husband.
Yeah.
But
no, we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what the actual legal case is, which is why consulting a lawyer ASAP and finding out what would happen in all the different scenarios. The daughter is old enough that a judge may take her her thoughts into consideration.
What, she's 14?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that girl's been with OP for 14 years. I think that there's going to be a really strong case with the court if OP presents it and says, look, I've cared for this girl for 14 years as my own, blah, blah, blah. They may very well allow her to have some kind of parental rights in that particular case. I think it's absolutely devastating that this situation has even arisen, and how selfish is the sister in this particular case, too.
The sister and the husband are both just horrible people here. Like, kids are not toys you can just pass around. And the fact that the husband isn't attached enough to the daughter, and it's just like, yeah, isn't it time we just hand her off?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I would be devastated, right? I would, if I were in his position, I would fight to make sure that I kept my daughter, right? But here he is being like, I have my son, my biological child, I'm fine. Thank you very much. It just seems like, because OP even mentions that, he's more close to the son than the daughter, and this might be one of the reasons why he is. So, not such a good situation. Really not great. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Form Successful 1122 says, you never wondered who and where this child's mother was in 12 years? And OP replies, of course I wondered, but he was always vague and brushed me off. At the time, I honestly thought that I was the other woman, so I carried guilt instead of asking more. Over the years, I just focused on being her mom. I never imagined that the truth would be this ridiculous. And Form Successful 1122 says, so when you registered for school, you didn't take her birth certificate? You never take any legal action to have parental rights to this child again in 12 years? And OP replies, yes, we had to give her birth certificate for school and doctors, but my husband signed everything. I never got legal guardianship because I trusted him to handle it. Most of her official paperwork stayed with her grandparents at first since they really didn't trust me. So I was kept away from that kind of stuff. And it could be OP just didn't feel like they were entitled to ask, and they were brushed off. Apparently the husband does have legal guardianship. I did read that in one of the comments there. They did adopt her, and so it's really unfortunate about what's going on right now. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Feeling Hurt by an AI Video? My husband, a 34-year-old, and I, a 30-year-old, have a history that goes way back. We were each other's first kisses as teenagers and reconnected years later. We've been together for 9 years and married for 4, and he's always been the most amazing, loving partner that I know. Well, last night, something happened that really broke my heart. We were having wine with friends when my husband, who was sitting right across from me, messaged me. I opened it and saw that it was an AI-generated video of him kissing a female coworker. As I watched it, my face dropped, and he just smiled, waiting for my reaction. I tried to keep my composure while our friends were there, but after they left, we had a difficult conversation. My husband insisted that I was overreacting, saying that it was just a joke, and that he didn't even do anything since it was an AI video created by another male coworker. I told him that wasn't the point. What hurt me was that he found it funny and was so dismissive. When I asked him what his reaction was in their work group chat, he said, "Oh, I had no reaction because it's not a big deal." That's when things escalated. I explained that the video was not only disrespectful to me, but also his female coworker. To have no reaction, to treat this as a non-issue was deeply concerning. Our marriage is built on trust, and while I understand workplace jokes, this crossed a major line. We ended up fighting all night and slept in separate rooms. I told him that if he couldn't see why this was a problem, then our marriage might not be as solid as I thought, and now I'm considering divorce. So am I the jerk for getting this upset over a video that wasn't even real? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I think this is hinting at some underlying issues. The way he is nonchalant about this. Well, first of all, why did the coworker create this video in the first place? It makes me want to know more about the workplace dynamics. That they would just pair him up with this woman. Like, I don't think it's random. And how does like Opie pointed out, how does this other woman feel about all of this? Has she seen the video?
I would imagine not.
It's very, like, not okay. Opie should have just not Opie. Opie's husband should have just shut it down on principle alone.
Yeah.
It is such a creepy and invasive and gross thing to do to other people. And so the fact that he's not at all disturbed by this and finds it entertaining and is upset with OP for rightfully being disturbed, I mean, that's just raising all the red flags for me.
Yeah, it makes me wonder about this whole thing, right? And again, like, this is actually workplace sexual harassment. Whether or not it's happening inside the workplace, since it does involve people who are working at the same company and have this, workplace relationship. This would definitely fall under sexual harassment if she found this video. And if someone ends up sharing it to her, then OP's husband could get in trouble if he knows about this and hasn't, said or shut it down or anything like that, right? It just seems like it's in very poor taste. I don't know why he would think this was funny. And maybe he has some kind of like crush or something like that on this other woman, and that's why the coworker sent this to him.
That's my guess. Like, that's the only way I can figure that he would be so non-bothered by it, is that he is actually attracted to her and wouldn't mind if this became reality. Yeah.
I mean, and I think the only way that OP is going to get to the bottom of that is if they sit down in marriage counseling. But again, like, this, I don't blame OP for this being a deal breaker in her relationship, seeing as how he doesn't seem to care at all about this type of thing going on. He's not discouraging it, and he doesn't seem to be, and if he's actively encouraging it, then that's even worse. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Form Successful 1122 says, I mean, divorce is a leap if you're otherwise happy, but this was an absolute boneheaded move, and you have every right to be upset. Look, honey, it's me fake cheating on you. Isn't that funny? I can't imagine why he would think that you would want to see that. Also, I'm slightly concerned as to why his coworkers thought to create it. And OP replies, that's something that keeps me up. Why him? Why her? Why the video to begin with? I don't think that there is anything going on between them, but should I? And Master Shake says, if there was something going on, then why would he show it to you? That would be idiotic. And OP replies, I agree, but then why would he treat it like it wasn't a big deal? I mean, wasn't it kind of idiotic for him to show it to OP in the first place? I mean, let's not make leaps of how idiotic someone could possibly be in this situation.
Well, you can also be trying to introduce OP to the idea, like, once you introduce the coworker to their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, this could be like a way of like, oh, look, we're opening the relationship type of thing,
I mean, at this point, we don't even know for a fact that he himself didn't make the video and pretend a coworker made it.
That's a good point. All right, folks, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a nighttime meal for electronics?
I would call it a short circuit snack.
A TV dinner.
Oh, a TV dinner, yeah.
Yeah, it's National TV Dinner Day.
Oh. So, if you like TV dinners, then go ahead and eat them. I remember eating TV dinners as a small child. And I flicker spice.
I too had TV dinners as a small child.
I don't remember the TV dinners. They weren't too bad. They had like these little brownies, and they weren't bad. I remember as a child. I was very small when we had some of them. I mean, we had them every once in a while when I was a kid, right? It wasn't like we had them all the time or anything like that. But I remember us having them a few times, especially when I was very, very young. I thought the brownies were the best. That's what I remember being good about the TV dinners, the brownies. There were like mashed potatoes and some other things in them. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
You can name your kids. You can also name your pets, not other people's.
I like it. I like it. You can tune your piano, you can tune a fish, but you can't tune a fish. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.